What up? What up? What up? Good evening, y'all. What's good? Welcome back to the Sorry Shoe Podcast. It's your boy ARP. We here, man. Night streams is something they got to deal with. Peep the early memberships giving out, matching the new Celtics hat and all that. Look at that's kind of y'all ain't see that one before, huh? I told y'all I'm on a string of new joints I'm dropping, but appreciate our members. Shout out to everybody gifting on the channel. Really, really appreciate y'all. And shout out to everybody that's already in the chat. Philly's here. Melly's here. She said hit that like button. Jojo, our member, is here. Who else is in the building? Twiz is here. What's good, my guy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We in here. Scam Newton is here, our member. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, we here. Ghostface is here. Our members. Yeah, late night. Y'all see the thumbnail, right? I try to put a little bit more information in the thumbnail so y'all know what some of these streams got coming up other than just the main topic that be in the title. So let me know if y'all rock with that. Drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments on the replay and all that. Let me know if y'all like the thumbnails. Quick as far as the thumbnail and other stuff that may not be there. So yeah, we're gonna start out with the main topic, Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. I'm gonna give y'all my take at the end of all of these updates that we see after Gucci's response and say whether I believe he got robbed or whether I don't believe he got robbed. Okay. What else do we got? Nicki Minaj, Don Lemon. There's a lot going on with these two guys. Y'all know how I feel about Nicki, but we gotta look at some of these updates, and we got another update in regards to one of her lawsuits. We're gonna touch on that. What else do we got? We got some Verb stuff to chop up. That's going to be a brief one, but we got to make a quick pit stop there. We got NBA Youngboy, 21 Savage. We got the story of these two twins, get back story. We got some AR Ab. I got some Finesse 2 times in here. And I got a closer. Okay. Let's get to work, people. Let's go. Let's kick things off. Let's get working. Gucci Mane. His response has been posted, so it seems, as far as the allegations that some Suge Knight type shit happened to him. So we covered it the other day. We played Seti Nash's stream. Seti Nash pretty much broke down a lot of the history between Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti. Of course, Pooh Shiesty coming home from jail, being signed at one point to Gucci Mane, and then allegedly now moving over to Yo Gotti side of things. But there was somebody who passed away in the midst of Pooh Shiesty being down, I believe. He didn't like the way that Gucci Mane handled that. A bunch of people post videos and internet stuff talking about they didn't like that he didn't pay for the funeral services, etc. But they say recently that Gucci Mane was pretty much set up kind of like he was linking up with Pooh Shiesty to go over some contractual stuff and some record label stuff or whatever. And then he gets pressed. In the midst of that, guns get drawn on him, allegedly. And then they force him to sign paperwork, which basically releases Pooh Shiesty from his contract, from his deal with Gucci. And then in the midst of all that, he loses his watch and his wedding ring, totaling a couple $1 million. That's what they say. That's what the streets are saying. But this is the supposed response from Gucci now. Looks kind of random, right? Gucci posts his wedding ring after rumors claim he got it confiscated by Pooh Shiesty's goons. Rumor debunked. So, looks like just a promotional post, but take note, of course, of the big wedding ring and rock on his left hand here. So, that's not by chance there. I guess we could chase this post down even further just to make sure it's never been posted before and it's a brand new post. And I don't want to do all of that. If this has come about recently, we'll go with that for now as far as Gucci's response. And then later on, we can determine whether he pulled up this picture and it's old or whether he took this picture after the alleged rumors to show, like, what are y'all talking about? I still got my ring. But that's his alleged response to all of this. I lost my belongings stuff. We haven't heard anything from Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty is back in like a detention center type of thing, right? Not in jail. There was reports initially that he was put back in jail, but part of his release terms was that he's going to have to go back into like a halfway house situation. I believe he's there now until April, right? But let's look at some of these other updates prior to Gucci's response. This one right here. Let's give this one a read. At Gucci Mane met with Pooh Shiesty strictly on business to discuss future projects. That's why Gucci didn't come with street dudes or security. The meeting wasn't that type of time, and he was vulnerable because of the nature of the meeting. Pooh Shiesty arrived with Big 30 and others pressed Gucci to sign paperwork to release him from Gucci's label. Gucci said no and made it clear that even if he did sign anything, it wouldn't be legitimate without lawyers present. Somebody else that we're going to pull up that has a take around that. And then I'm going to pull that up on ChatGPT. Some more facts around that in a second. We'll get there. I'm hearing Gucci was robbed during the situation, which is why this could turn into something much bigger if it isn't handled correctly. I'm hearing Yo Gotti is trying to step in and remedy the situation before it escalates, which would be interesting because everybody swears up and down that Gucci and Yo Gotti have issues stepping back to Gucci's current wife because Yo Gotti allegedly was with her prior, and then he started signing all the rappers from Memphis. We got a video that we're about to play on that theory as well. But Yo Gotti stepping in to remediate this, that would be something. What doesn't make sense to me is why Pooh would even risk his freedom like this. He just got out of prison and he's currently on parole. Moves like this don't add up, especially knowing law enforcement is at least aware of what I'm not going to go based on that. We see these guys, they love sitting in a revolving door situation. I'm not saying Pooh, but just because somebody just came home doesn't mean to me that they know how to stay out of trouble. Look at Young Thug. He had just got released, and then all of a sudden he was tweeting about the DA, and then they took that right into court and tried to violate his parole and throw him right back in jail to serve the back end of his deal, right? So just because people just come home doesn't mean that they're moving the smartest and the sharpest. Some people get right back into the bullshit. Not saying Pooh Shiesty, but all right. The continued carrying of the rumors, though, once it leaves, small podcasts and blogs and couple social media posts, because rumors is rumors and celebrity news is celebrity news. The Tasha K's and the TMZ, once you start getting there, that's where hopefully it either gets confirmed or debunked, because once these type of platforms got a hold of it, you start opening things up to millions of people, right? Because other platforms will post it simply because these type of platforms post it. But this is from Tasha K, and I still say allegedly, right? Unless this screenshot is just made up. Yes, allegedly Gucci Mane was kidnapped by, they say kidnapped by Pooh Shiesty and held at gunpoint until he signed a contract releasing him from his Death Row Records 2.0 situation. A very strong source connected to the situation called me and filled me in. There was no confirmed robbery, just an alleged contract release, so Pooh could freely sign to Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti, can't you just answer the question of if Pooh is signed to you or not? That might say a lot. That might say a lot. Or Gucci, just say, is Pooh still signed to you or not? That might say a lot. On Monday, I'll drop the rest of the details. This is allegedly the real reason Pooh was arrested, and they're allegedly trying to cover it up. If what I'm being told is true, everything is allegedly, even my name is allegedly. See y'all Monday. How about this one, though, people? If this is the real reason why he was taken back into custody, who would cover it up? The authorities? No, they don't give a fuck about whether the public knows why this guy. If anything, the authorities might want to know why a celebrity was taken back into custody, because there could be some outrage. Hey, you federal government, and why y'all messing with a black celebrity? Man just came home, trying to do his thing because he just robbed somebody. They wouldn't care. What would they give a fuck about covering up these rappers bullshit? So I don't buy that piece of it. But many of us did scratch our heads that he came home. We seen him in the studio. We seen him moving around, little come home gatherings and whatnot. And then to go back and start serving some type of until April confinement terms or home. Why didn't it start like that? Like, I don't know. I mean, but then again, you never know the conditions of somebody's release. You never know. You never know the timing of the arrangements and everything. You never know what a lawyer works out with a judge upon your back end plea agreement. You don't. Who knows? We don't have that paperwork, so I'm not going to over speculate. But it was odd. But ain't no authorities going to cover this shit up for him. Okay. All right. Let's move on. We got some reputables talking about the art of war, and how this, once again, is all over Gucci's current wife, him and Yo Gotti, this woman that he has in common. And Gucci's approach to things every time he gets into it and how he uses his power and the record industry to go about some of his beefs. There is some ironic shit to this, conspiracy, but I don't know.
Is Stan G, Whack 100's op. Stan G is from Memphis and knows Memphis street politics. He says Gucci Mane is using war tactics on Yo Gotti.
Why you think Gucci dropped the whole label? You think he ain't sitting back waiting on Shiesty and Fujiano? So you don't think there were war tactics? What Gucci was doing, locking down Atlanta, signing everybody in Atlanta when he got into it with Jeezy, locking that city down, got into it with Gotti, signed the whole Memphis. Now they can't mess with him. Signed like 9 artists from Memphis. Everybody he dropped was Memphis artists. It was about that girl, bro. Every time he get into it with something, he locked the city down. Then he went to Memphis and, look, I'm signing all these bulls from Gotti Hood. God ain't gonna never mess with them for it because you was already rocking with Gucci before. War tactics get real in the South too.
This is Stan G, Whack 100's op.
I could see it. Nobody knows how true it is. I can see it. All these battle rappers got a contract. Why? Because you love their talent, or is it because of our allegedly? Of course. I'm just saying, like I can see it. I can see it. The timing and the Jeezy and the it's semi-smart. When you have real street beef, you can't really cover it by signing people and paying them money. First of all, they could just be backstabbing you, taking your bread and your platform and saying, but on the low, I'm still loyal to Jeezy, or I'm still loyal to Yo Gotti, or I'm still Memphis first. I'm still, I mean, but people do shit. Like, it would be some petty shit, but petty is very common. Like, oh, word, I'm going to show you, Mr. Memphis. Come here, Memphis rapper. Come here, Memphis. I'm going to show you, Jeezy. Come here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't put it past niggas, man. Gucci ain't no fucking angel. You know what I mean? So that was a very, very interesting take. All right, speaking of his op, let's go to Whack 100 for a second.
Shiesty knows the new Gucci. He don't know the Gucci we know. If something like that did happen, it's just not smart. Even if you cannot, and you understand this, make somebody sign something under duress. If you did do this, let's say this happened.
Yeah.
Now Gucci got the power to put your ass on the shelf. Put you on the shelf, tie you up 2-3 years, trying to get out of contract. Every time you put something up, he can snatch that shit right on down. This is just real shit.
Okay, I will say this though.
Like, why would you can't?
It is hard to believe that Pooh Shiesty could be dumb enough to do this. When you look at the cases that Pooh Shiesty has that led to him getting those years in prison, I mean, it was hard to believe those things happened as well.
Pooh Shiesty knows the new Gucci.
My bad.
He don't know the.
I'm in the background, just it's still a smash hit, right? Interesting. All right, so let's look at it now. Is a contract void? No, not void. Valid if it is signed under duress. You know what that makes me think about before we even click enter on that? It's like, think about when you're getting interrogated, or is it during your Mirandas? Definitely during openings and trial, right? Or if you sign like plea agreements and shit. We see that in footage all the time. I'm not talking about TV land. I'm talking about reality shit, like real court TV and whatnot. We see, like, if you're going to take a plea agreement, we'll see some of these people, they get asked a question from the judge. Do you understand what you are signing? Yes, Your Honor. Did anybody force you to accept these terms? No, Your Honor. Did anybody tell you that you would be getting something, any promises that's outside of? No, Your Honor. Did anybody put a gun? I'm exaggerating. Anybody put a gun to your head? Were you under duress? No, Your Honor. You know, similar. Let's see what it says when it comes to contract signing. No. The only reason I'm scared of the answer here is because I feel like there's a gray area. If somebody signs a contract and then they decide they don't like their contract 5 years later because they're locked into some bullshit, did they just turn around and go to court and that's a loophole to try to get out? I was under duress. I mean, you got to have some solid evidence, like, yo, I was robbed, I was Suge Knighted. Like, you know what I'm saying? It says, short answer, usually no. A contract signed under duress is generally not enforceable, but the details matter. What duress means in contract law. Duress exists when one party is forced or pressured into signing a contract by wrongful threats or coercion, leaving them no reasonable alternative. Common examples: threats of violence or harm, threats of illegal action, extreme economic pressure caused intentionally or unfairly, threats against family or property. Okay, we got everything we need. That's what removes the gray area to me. Because yeah, I'm not a judge. You're not coming to me after 3 years of being in a contract and saying, but back when I signed it, I was under duress. Get the fuck out of here. You're not just going to use that. So what is the type of stuff that we just read? It would be applicable here, for example, allegedly held at gunpoint to sign this contract, or Eazy-E in the studio with a bunch of mob members, you know what I'm saying, mob Pyrus with Suge, or Vanilla Ice getting threatened to get thrown over the roof by Suge Knight. Or if we go into the movie side, Ocean's 11, Al Pacino up on the roof with his bodyguards, ready to throw his partner off, you know, before the casino opens up. So yeah, that's real duress. If you bring that to a judge, he's got to say, yeah, we throwing this shit out. I get it. Here's a quick angle for you there, though, right? If Gucci was, imagine this is true. Damn, I just thought about this. Imagine it was true that Gucci was held at gunpoint and forced to sign away the rights of Pooh Shiesty. To get Pooh Shiesty back, if his signature is on some shit, he would then have to go to the authorities and say that he was under duress. And everybody would say that's snitching. He's a street nigga. Oh, that's fucked up. That is fucked up. Chat, would you call Gucci Mane if he went to the authorities and said, I only signed that contract because guns was drawn on me? And remember, people, you don't have to be going after something criminal. Civil situations get picked up criminal. What did we just cover that happened on? Who went to court and filed some shit just to have the record? Allegedly, the girl that is the reason why Javante Davis is on the run right now. He still hasn't turned himself in as of like headlines that I saw today. He's still in the wind. Okay. But it didn't appear that she went to them to get him locked up. She went to them allegedly to document the incident to constitute her civil suit. But the authorities could pick some shit up. They start investigating. They go to the nightclub. They pull the footage. They say, oh, wait a minute. Look at this nigga allegedly dragging this girl into the alley. Oh, no, we're gonna pursue this. Doesn't have to come from the alleged victim. So that's another reason why people, street niggas and people that follow certain code, they can't pull the whole, look, man, it was just civil. Or I was just going there just to fill out a police report so that I can pursue this civil report. What if they wanted to pick it up? Or I only said these niggas was pointing guns at me because I want to make sure that this nigga was still signed to me. They're going to call you a rat. You're a whole gangster. You're a whole street nigga, man. Damn. Anyway. All right. So that's a whole sidebar. Let's close it out here. And then I'm going to give you my opinion. This has been going around the internet, something crazy. Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty photo floating around the internet. They said his wedding ring was confiscated, but it's still on this it's still on in this photo too. What y'all think? Misinfo or internet reaching again? So looks like somebody in a shiesty, go figure, a shiesty, right? A ski mask, grab, possibly hemming him up for his eyes not to be on this person. What the internet is trying to insinuate is that this is semi-resistance, but he's looking at other people because maybe off camera he's being held at gunpoint. You want to hear who said that happened to them? I only backed down the way that I did was because behind the camera, Jay, keep up. I was under duress off camera. 40 Glock. 40 Glock always said that when Game was beating on him, punching on him, remember? But we believe that was the case for 40 Glock because there was even times in the footage when Game is sitting there You know what I'm saying? Bitch ass nigga, boom, come here, you bitch ass nigga, and running up on him. And you see 40 at one point throw up his hands. And then he like second guesses, you know. And then even in the footage, 40 Glock says something like he's in the bushes and Game is punching him a little bit. He's like, y'all jumping. You know, so I do believe that Game was allowed to just get off on 40 Glock because 40 Glock felt like if I fight back, I die. There's a bunch of people here, whether guns is drawn or not. I'm gonna take these punches from Game, and that's gonna spare me from having to deal with these guns or these other 5-10 people that just chase me down the fucking hill, right? And then fast forward, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kill my reputation by being named 40 Glock, right? It was a infamous Crip, and then go to the civil authorities and file a lawsuit on Game. And they called him a snitch for that. Yeah, people like, you know, niggas from Cypress Hills coming out and say, you can't do that. Like, I remember all that. I know Jay can't keep up, but it's all good. It's all good. I got y'all. Don't worry. She's probably in the chat. She's gonna start cooking me. It's all good. But not real shit. This picture right here, y'all. We are in this AI nasty world, and you don't know what to trust these days. I done seen some crazy ass AI, and I had no fucking clue, man. But look, somebody here on the thread, Addict Grok, is this photo AI generated? And look what Grok's answer is. Based on my analysis of the image and the recent reports, it appears to be AI generated. Sources indicate it's tied to viral rumors of a confrontation, but Pooh Shiesty remains in prison until April 2026. And Gucci Mane debunked related claims by showing his ring, no evidence of a real photo. So outside of this picture, what do I believe? Do I still believe that this happened? I don't. And I'm kind of ready to put this whole thing to rest until further notice. Like, I don't want no more rumor mill behind this, right? Now, here's a reference. I really got to leave Jay alone. Here's an example. When claims are so left field and bullshit behind street shit and niggas that either rock with each other or don't want to be into it. The reference there, or the example that happened there recently, is Max B and Ja Rule. Okay, Max B comes home. He goes to a concert. Ja Rule's at a concert as well. Same concert. Footage drops. Ja Rule was in an altercation. He comes out. He talks about somebody try to punch him or whatever. 50 Cent and a bunch of people run with it. Ja Rule got jumped. He got beat up. He got stomped out. All yada 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 yada. Then reports started surfacing. Max B or his camp was the ones that beat up Ja Rule. Ja Rule came out and said, "Nah, it ain't no Max B involved in this. Shout out to Max B." And Max B came out and said the same thing. I don't got nothing to do. Are you guys kidding me? Let me just come home and mind my business. Shout out to Ja Rule. I love Ja Rule. It happens, okay? I say that to say, if the rumors are so left field, do we only get a sub type picture of Gucci Mane promoting some product while flashing his ring in the camera? Like, stuff like this spreads out. Camps get involved, money gets messed up, promoters get a hold of it, you know, people start beefing, your reputation is on the line. Why not a bigger statement? Like, even though Pooh Shiesty they say he's at his halfway house situation right now, he can get word. Like, we get tweets from Sue Surf once a week. He's locked up right now, right? Like, Pooh Shiesty could make a statement or get a statement out from a lawyer, from a friend, from his social media, from an audio, from some, you know what I'm saying? And Gucci Mane could do so much more too. But one thing that we did see and we did confirm, right? Gucci Mane went on his social media and started deleting welcome home Pooh Shiesty pictures. So this is where it leaves me. Something's wrong with these motherfuckers. Something's wrong here. You wanted to show the ring instead of saying, I don't got no issues with these niggas. And Pooh Shiesty and his camp say nothing. I don't know. It's weird. And then you delete and post. So something happened, but I'm not ready to jump out the window and put this whole Suge Knight shit to be carried on across at least our platform, folks. All right. Suge Knight situation, held at gunpoint, forced to sign away, and people talk about was he under duress or not and all that. I'm gonna leave that alone. And I'm gonna take Gucci's word for it that that's a recent picture and he's showing I still got my shit. But something either is going on with them or something did happen. I don't know. So until further notice, people, we're not doing too much. All right. But something's weird. Sorry, it's true. All right. Let's go now to our second topic. We got to cover this Nicki Minaj and Don Lemon. All right. We'll start here. Shout out to Hollywood Unlocked. They got some of these, and we got a couple video. I'm going to play the footage as well of them protesting at church and all of that. We're going to get to that. But let's start here. All right. Nicki Minaj continues to come for Don Lemon. Before we go into that one, I want to go forward first. All right. Let's go to what happened. Okay. So pardon me if I'm out the loop. I can only consume but so much news per day in my regular life. But my understanding of where we at is we know we got a lot of stuff going on behind ICE, right? And the government. And, you know, rest in peace. We had a young lady that lost her life in the street in her neighborhood, you know, with that car situation was like a week and a half ago. We see people getting ran down on by ICE left and right on the internet. We see it looks like people ran up in their jobs and all this whole thing with ICE. It's scary to a lot of people. A lot of people feel like this is some like a government attack, people losing their lives, people getting shipped out. And ironically, Nicki Minaj got petitions rolling around with tens of thousands of signatures talking about deport her ass. You know, so you see the parallel there. ICE, Nicki, deport her campaigns and shit. You see the parallel there, right? But allegedly, the pastor of this given church is aligned with ICE, allegedly. And, you know, they're at church and they're having their regular Sunday, for example, congregation. And protesters run up in the church and start protesting based on what the pastor represents or the pastor's affiliations related to ICE. Don Lemon is there. He either happened to be there or was alerted to be there, or people feel like he was a part of it. You know what? Whatever. But let's get to some of the footage now.
Why are you doing this?
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now. Demanding justice for Renee Good and letting them know that this will not stand. They cannot pretend to be a house of God while harboring someone who is directing ICE agents to wreak havoc upon our community and who killed Renee Good, who almost killed a 6-month-old baby. Enough is enough. I am a reverend on top of being a lawyer and an activist. So I come here in the power of the Almighty God.
Tell us, why are you doing this?
This is Operation Pull Up.
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay. That's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Do you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them? As a
no
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much.
This is unacceptable.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even True. So let me just make it clear, because this a assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Gillen or whatever. So I have no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that stuff. For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go. So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protest at the church, with the MAGA administrators are blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea.
All right, now before we move on to how this formulates into Nicki Minaj versus Don, let me give y'all my response to this. Let me pull back up this.
This is unacceptable.
Rather see this right here as we talk about it. Yes, Don Lemon is right in regards to a right to assemble, freedom of speech. Basically, we have the right to protest, even the government. Go march on the White House if you want, right? And he's also saying in his clip there, don't blame me, blame the person that organized all of this. Here's my but. It's not just about whether you have the right to do something or not. Okay? I'm not even a religious man. I don't believe that this should be happening in the middle of church, though. I don't know. I just feel like there's a better way to do it. You know, whether you run down on a guy outside and approach him, you know, the person in question, the pastor in question, maybe after. I don't know. You know, if it's like this person is being harbored and hidden, it's like Osama bin Laden is here with a clown mask on and posing as a pastor. Of course. All right, everybody get up in there and let's expose this shit. But I don't know, because what if they're wrong about it? But even still, there's how many other people that's there just to get the word of the day, or to, you know, practice their religion, practice Christianity, come in love and lift their spirits. It just feels like there's a time and a place, and to just bum rush a church and to start protesting, it doesn't seem right. And to Don talking about, you know, go after, why don't you guys question the person who organized all of this, like allegedly maybe the person that he interviewed. I'm not really big on that neither, because it's his platform, it's his voice, it's his journalism that he hid behind right there that carries something like this, which probably is intentional, which is probably why he was there to begin with, to cover such a big situation and be a journal behind such a big situation that was about to happen. So yeah, when there's lives lost, you know, you don't want to see people congregate for the wrong reasons. You see people use deceased people to congregate off of bullshit, and you're doing it in deceased people's names. And either side could be wrong for that. Either side. But Don, like, don't be a part of bringing your platform to the middle of a church service and talk about, I didn't organize it, I'm just being a journalist. It's not about your right to, or you practicing journalism. You also have to ask yourself if you're comfortable with this taking place or not, if you think that this is right or wrong or not. And once again, I'm not a religious person. I just think there's a time and a place, and this pastor, the way he handled it, made me feel a little bit uncomfortable too. It's just like he's just in there like, I can't believe I'm just in here preaching the word to people that believe, and y'all bum rush these doors and started protesting in here. That's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So inserts the chat.
Tell us what
Nicki Minaj. All right. Lord, Nicki Minaj now wants Don Lemon in jail after interviewing during the Minnesota church protest. Okay, so this is the post that kicks everything off, all the controversy. Don C-sucking Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. I would never do that to any other religion, lock him up. Y'all already know I don't like Nicki over here, so I don't got to hide it, and we don't have to build up the drama. Once again, speaking of time and a place, Nicki, you hot right now. They signing petitions once again to deport you. They keep resurfacing and bringing more light to your husband and your brother and your status. How the fuck are you jumping out right now talking about lock somebody up? There's a certain things, even if you feel passionately about it, there's certain things you got to publicly stay away from. Like, this is foolish as shit. Let's read some of these comments. It was so peaceful. Go back on your hiatus, please. Talking to Nicki, this post. Calling out someone else's husband when yours is a PDF is nasty work. That's the second comment. What's this next one? What does it say? I think I'm going to pass on that one. What's this one? Should we talk about the husband you go home to or the husband you can't go to the playground with? Oops. Talking about if you're a registered offender, right? Alleged. I don't know. Look at this one. Y'all move. I got it. Throwing a brick at her. I wish I could block any news of her. Do I need to keep reading? What do you... We see people do some of the stupidest shit that are in some of the biggest positions of power. Once again, Nicki Minaj, you're talking about you conquered the world as far as success. These people do some of the stupidest shit. Anyway, let's keep the tension building between these two. Now let's go back to the beginning. Okay. This is when the last updates. Nicki Minaj continues to come for Don Lemon. All right, what do we got here? So somebody post, this is the same man who goes home every day to his white husband, yet parades himself as pro-black, questioning black people's authenticity and telling others to prove their blackness while feeling bold enough to speak on at Nicki Minaj. First of all, I didn't even know. Maybe I'm out the loop. Maybe I don't watch him enough. I didn't know he was gay. I mean, it was right. I'm not even going to answer the question right now, but if you date, marry, or whatever outside your race, yet you claim to be pro that race, is that is that hypocrisy? Maybe. Can Dr. Umar have a white girlfriend? Probably not, right? I don't know. I'll say that for a separate conversation, okay? But she comes and she puts true or false. # arrest Don Lemon. All right. The rest of that post says, this is going at Don Lemon now. This is an alcoholic who was fired from a 17-year career because of a long documented pattern of misogyny, hostility, and disturbing behavior. Multiple women, workplace culture where he engaged in aggressive, abusive, and violent behavior, including incidents where colleagues said they felt threatened, intimidated, or physically unsafe. Is any of that true, Don? Damn. That's not a good history, if so, allegedly. Add to that, he joked at Bill Cosby's victim and asked her why didn't she use her teeth? And yes, allegations of abuse towards both women and men have followed him publicly for years, especially after a bartender said he was harassed by him in 2019. Damn, you don't got no Tyler Perry allegedly type shit to you, do you? Allegedly. Major anti-Semitism awareness organizations publicly condemned him after he stated that black and brown Jews don't exist, erasing entire communities and histories in one sentence. Something he was called out for immediately. Lock him up. All right, so y'all have y'all punches at each other for show. Let's listen to some Don Lemon responses. This first one here is him on TMZ, I believe. Let's check this one out.
This is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual.
So right now it's kind of mayhem. We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them. Did they explain to you why they're here?
They did not.
They said that there is someone here in Easterwood, someone who is a member of ICE and he's a pastor of the church.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
So this is what the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest.
There's a varying array of views in this church on politics of immigration. Recognize the complexity of the issue.
This shows you just how divided America is. When you look at the protesters here, and then you look at the people there who are praying, and you know what was the interesting thing? If these two groups could just get together, they might figure out what to do.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on in the Twin Cities right now, but I don't think it's good to fight fire with fire. I think it's good to speak up. I think it's good to protest, but I think it's better to do it in a peaceful way.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. This guy here, look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. They think you lost and this didn't accomplish anything, and you went into their house, the house of the Lord.
The reality is the house of the Lord is a place where love lives. It's not a place where you can have a pastor masquerading as the director for the field office of ICE in St. Paul.
Okay. More Don follow-up now. I think this is where he starts to send his directs at Nicki. All right, exclusive. Don Lemon stopped by TMZ Live and went off on Nicki Minaj, telling her to sit her ass down and urged her to get a life and grow some brains. Ooh, what's this about?
Nicki Minaj and her response to all of this and the language that she used. I think it's interesting just because Nicki has been, over the last couple of months, made it clear that she is now publicly supporting, and I think maybe she has all along, but now publicly making it known her support for the Trump administration and even the MAGA movement. The choice of words that she used to go after you, I'm not surprised she went after you.
Homophobic. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think you have to black it out. You should show it to people. She called me Don, C sucker lemon is disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say to Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to things like this, but, F it. I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. For I don't think she's one of them, obviously. And she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented. And so she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting, I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity. What I will say to her is, because she put a doll, I think she put the Chucky doll in there, a better symbol that should have been represented in that picture is a pick-me doll, because Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit the fuck down. And by the way, isn't she married to an alleged pedophile? And she has the nerve to say something disparaging about and something homophobic. I'm pretty sure that maybe that's part of the reason that she is cozying up to the Trump administration for some sort of leniency for her family members. And it's just very transparent. So Nicki Minaj, F off, stop being a homophobic bigot, and, get a life and some brains.
Well, all right. He's obviously bothered. One more, and then I'm going to come back to that comment that Jay had up on the screen too, y'all. One more from Don. Oh, wow. That boy he seemed a little upset there, didn't he?
So people have been asking me about responding to Nicki Minaj's unhinged, homophobic tweet about me. I usually don't respond to this stuff, but let me just say this. Nicki Minaj, stop talking about shit for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth, by the way. And you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans, and you're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. And the other thing is that your family members, you have one family member who is reportedly a sex offender, the other family member, your husband or whatever, a sex offender is your husband, and one of them is reportedly a pedophile. And you have nerve to talk about me and what you think that I do? Nicki Minaj, get a life. Stop being a pick-me. You should have put a pick-me doll on that damn tweet instead of a Chucky doll, because you are nothing but a pick-me. And I choose not to pick you. And so should black people, and so should gay people. Shouldn't buy your music. Clock that. So people have been asking me about...
In my first time listening to that, I apologize, people. I didn't know how great of a bar he was about to drop. Pick me, dog. I don't pick. Shut the Yo, we always call it down the middle, people. Y'all know I despise Nicki Minaj at this point. But we already said one of the things I disagree with Don, you know, showing up there as a journalist or whatever in church. But I'm gonna now let's react to what we're saying about what happened that was homophobic. I think Don's a cornball for that. I think he's a cornball for that. Now, Don, if you are so pro-black or so integrated within black culture and a representative of our people, you know the difference between homophobic or gay slurs versus like how we talk. It's like, imagine a black person that don't know our culture, especially in modern day, right? I'm not talking about maybe like the fucking 1700s or some shit, right? Modern day, that hears me say nigga and be like, oh, I heard this podcast and this black guy was on there and he said the word nigga. He must be a racist towards black people. Are you where you come from? Hello, wake up, catch up. No, that's not what it means, right? Same thing with calling somebody a dick sucker or a C-suck, cocksucker. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not being said as a homophobic term. Even today, I think society has even laxed enough where even pause isn't really something that you're going to be able to just jump out the window and be like, oh, he's attacking gay people by saying pause. He's being anti-homosexual by saying pause. No, it's just a heterosexual emphasis. That's a difference. Just because you emphasize heterosexuality doesn't mean that you're detracting from homosexuality. You get it? So people, from when I was a kid, like dick sucker, whatever, if anything, calling it to a man, especially a black man, is meant to be a high level of disrespect that has nothing to do with trying to call you gay. It's just trying to disrespect you verbally as extreme as possible, you dick sucker. That's how it's used. So Don, hopefully you know that. And the way that I don't like to defend no Nicki, but sorry, it's true. She wasn't being homophobic. I'm pretty sure as ignorant as Nicki is, and as much as she likes to go on her little Twitter rampages or rants or whatever, if she wanted to get in a homophobic bag, she would have done so. And she is a huge proponent of different and multiple different sexualities. It makes up a big piece of her fan base. She caters to it. So Don, good try. And I think it's lame and it's punk-like to try to stir up such a strong and a large community, which is, like a gay rights agenda or movement or community against Nicki Minaj because of your own issues with her. Sticking to the things about her and whether she is supposed to be here as a citizen, her husband, her brother, stick to those things. And you're right on point when you say she's talking a bunch of shit that she's ignorant to and she got no real business trying to be a political spearhead. You're right. But don't turn around and throw the bullshit out there, because some of us got to call you on it. Be like, come on, man. Like, be stand up, and then you're going to have more people follow your suit that feel like, yeah, what you're spitting is true in regards to what this woman is doing in the country or in society. But once you start turning that bullshit, then anybody that listens to hip hop is gonna be like, well, I can't ride with you because shit, we say that, and I'm not being homophobic when I say it, so I can't align with Don Lemon. That's what you do when you pull bullshit. That's bullshit. All right, but despite Don and Nicki's bullshit, it appears Trump is semi-siding, allegedly. Donald Trump lock up Lemon for 40 years. This was posted yesterday. Donald Trump just co-signed a social media post saying Don Lemon should go to prison for reporting from an anti-ICE church protest in Minnesota. Now, mind y'all, people, that's all we need. That doesn't mean that he's co-signing Nicki Minaj, even though Nicki Minaj is over there trying to get up under the Trump administration's ass for whatever fucking personal reasons. Some people believe it so she doesn't get her ass deported. But anyway, this is him backing ICE. It's not him backing Nicki Minaj. All right. Even still, the reason why y'all could keep Nicki at this point, if there's any Nicki fans in the chat, sorry. When I see Nicki, this is all I see these days. I see her kissing up, being a clown to the Trump administration for whatever little underlying personal agendas that you have. And maybe for the moment you want to go maggot out, you want to throw your red hat on, so be it. But this guy wants to get in possibly to get more to the fucking fashion world. Nick, I don't want to put that on Kanye, but the way he went about his red hat campaign and his bullshit. I know some people say, all right, we try to get a Hoover out. Like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? But Kanye's he's bullshit. Everybody knows that. And Nicki, you sat up there and you couldn't even refrain from using the word assassin on that fucking platform, you idiot. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I see when I see her now. And he just happened to have the blonde hair. And was this the blue eye contacts at the time? Is he wearing those fucking contacts? Blue eye, but the blonde hair dyed and everything. Look at him. And Trump uses your dumbass for a photo op to tap into your huge urban fan base, you fucking puppet. You fucking puppet. Nobody even thinks that Trump is that smart. Yet he puppeteers your fucking clown ass because he's the president. Fuck Kanye. All right, is the photo op done? Everybody got their pictures? All right, get this black guy away from me. Allegedly. All right, here's your handshake. Stole that shit. Fun niggas stole that shit. That's my favorite meme of 2026 so far. I ain't gonna lie. But all right, rounding out on Nicki Minaj. Quick update as far as that lawsuit situation on her crib. Judge's decision to sell Nicki Minaj's home to be made this week. Nicki Minaj has until later this week to pay a $503,000 lawsuit judgment or risk losing her $20 million California mansion. Nicki Minaj's lawsuit drama has reached the 11th hour. She reportedly has yet to answer to a 2024 $500,000 lawsuit default judgment, yet she was ordered to pay former security guard Thomas Weidenmuller, who sued the rap star in 2022 over an alleged assault he suffered at the hands of Nicki's husband. Allegedly, her husband broke his jaw or some shit like that, or whatever. Kenneth Penny in 2019. Last November, Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Cindy Panuco said she planned on enforcing the sale of the home to satisfy the judgment, but needed more time to see records showing how much the $13 million mortgage Nicki has already paid since buying the home, which is now valued at $20 million in October of 2020. See, that's why I got to stop. You know, my take on this when we first saw the reports, people, and some of that is still here, which is if you're telling me you got the mortgage for $13 million, and now the house is valued at $20 million, regardless of what you put down on the crib, that's already a $7 million jump in your own equity right there. I mean, you could even take out a home equity loan or refinance out 500 grand of the $7 million that the value of the property. You could even refinance that, let alone, I already think that Nicki Minaj has $500,000. And I also believe that even if she didn't have it, she got a lot of high power, rich ass friends that's not going to let her lose her house. Somebody like Drake would happily lend her $500,000. And she could go make it herself. Like, there's just too many options that somebody of Nicki Minaj's status has to lose a $20 million house with a $13 million mortgage for owing a $500,000 debt. I don't see it. I don't see it. If this house gets lost, I'm only going to have the ability to go in a combination of ultimate fuck you, I'm not paying you type of, not arrogance, but stubbornness. It's like ultimate stubbornness along with, well, maybe she doesn't have it, or maybe she can't get it, or maybe she can't refinance to it, maybe her credit is bad, or maybe the bank wants her out too. Like, I'll have nowhere else to go, nowhere else to go. They telling me Offset just got his $1.3 million IRS back taxes paid because finally, something got settled out with Cardi. And some people want to believe that Offset, you don't got the 1.3. I know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but it's Nicki Minaj, man. You would tell me this about Offset. You tell me this about a lot of these rappers, 90+% of these rappers. I have enough experience to believe it. But there's the God tiers of this music industry, and Nicki Minaj is one of the God tiers. This is just hard for me to believe, people. So, I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see. All right, let's put that down. All right, let's get to this very, very short Verb topic. I wanted to pull this up for any of us that missed it in the midst of Mickey Factz, I almost said Nicki Factz, Mickey Factz masterpiece. So the reactions are on the channel from yesterday's live, and also clips of it on the channel as well. Shorts are up. I dropped a piece on my Instagram because I really like this diss track that he dropped. This isn't hey, let's all team up and push this song on like some record industry type of shit. I just am doing my own thing because I like it that much. And when I want to go for something, I'm going to go for something. It doesn't matter who puts it out. It came from Mickey, and Mickey happens to be the homie as well, which is cool, which is dope. But this little breakdown, I did catch the scarf piece because I remember when Verb did that stupid shit on the gram. But for some people, they missed it. These bars right here for Verb.
The guy who paid folks said he's stepping out in the deep.
Boy, if I showed you who dick kind of had him, I'm tied
a scarf around his neck like women out in the street. Wow.
You want some more?
The guy who paid folks said he's stepping out in the deep.
Boy, if I showed you who dick kind of had him, I'm
tied a scarf around his neck like women out in the street. Wow.
You want some more?
The guy who paid folks said he's stepping out in the deep.
Boy, if I showed you who dick kind of had.
I'm just saying. Bars. the man fucking Vicky went off on this track. One last piece that I want to say. So word in these social media streets that I heard is that Verb said he turned off the, you know what? Let's go to it real quick, just in case. Let me just double check. My bad. my bad. I'm here. Yeah, click the wrong button. But let me share this out again. So where I was at with this is I was saying, let's go to, because I want to finish that point about Verb, but I wanted to go to his page first to make sure that the comments was really off. And when I was going to his page to make sure that the comments was really off, I just happened to see this on the homepage. It landed me there again. You see We got a new J Mills blog that dropped 48 minutes ago. I'll probably check that out later. But you see here on the right, Mickey is live, and it says second diss to True False. So I'm going to go to his channel after this, and we'll see if there's a second track on his joint, and we'll be right here live again, first listen. But what I want to do first is I wanted to go to Verb's channel. Here it is right here. And I just want to see if the comments to his song is still off. Here it is right here. Okay, pause it. We can't play that man's content on our channel. Yeah, the comments are still off. So he's at 34,000 views right now. And this is what I wanted to say about his comments being off. I wanted to say what trips me out is these internet streets told me that Verb's pushing. I turned off the comments of my video because Mickey got bots or J Mills got bots, and they're sending bots. It's bots with him for everything. If Hitman does 1 million views on his battles, it's bots. If somebody does more views than him, it's bots. If he's getting negative comments on his own channel, it's bots. Like, it's bots. Whatever. I mean, he's god tier fraud. But anyway, I just want to say this. Unless I'm tripping, YouTube people, how do you leave a comment on somebody's page without going to the page, which would then essentially give it a click / a view? So the early rush of a video on YouTube is what makes YouTube turn within its algorithm and say, let's promote that, let's push that. So are we saying that your initial rollout and promotion of this video came from views that weren't organically yours? Because you would have to, there's no one without the other, but it's just senseless stuff. It's just always something. It's always some type of cop out, and the cop outs, the lies, and the Drake is the reason why we're canceling the battle. His lies were never even that good. Mickey. All right, let's go to Mickey Factz. Let's see if he indeed dropped a second track. We do see that he's live right now. Shout out to Mickey. Did he drop a sec? No, I don't see a second track up yet. All right, so he's still got his Mickey Factz False Foe up here. And he's live right. Oh, wait. Oh, it's upcoming. It's scheduled for 1:20, 9:36 p.m. It's 9:52 p.m. It says Elite Rap. So if this is scheduled, it says second diss to Truthful. Why isn't it already going? Scheduled January 20th, 9:36 p.m. Mickey, are you not choosing Eastern time, buddy? Because it's 9:52 p.m. Eastern time, right? Am I tripping? Yeah, it's 9:52 p.m. Damn, we would have played this live right now. All right, so we'll be playing this tomorrow, people. Tomorrow's stream, we'll be coming back and doing. I won't play it. I'll check the channel, make sure there's dropped before tomorrow's stream, and I'll do a live reaction with you folks for Mickey's second diss track. It better not be as good or better than False Foe. It better not be. But anyway, all right, let's move on. We got a couple more topics that we need to get through. Let's move on. Briefly again. NBA Youngboy gets asked about 21 Savage saying, F the streets. I don't give a F about that. I'm telling you, man, 21 Savage has a bunch of tweets he wished he could have back this year. But all right, let's check it out.
21 Savage had the fuck the streets movement that he kind of has been promoting these last.
I don't even fuck about that. I am the streets. I love the streets. I come from the streets. I ain't on all that.
The way he talks is always funny.
But about that, man, it's just like stop the violence. Same shit I've been on, Oh no, it's kind of like I think people kind of confused. Ain't got nothing to really.
21 Savage had the fuck the streets.
Got nothing to really do with toting a gun, cause I ain't telling you not tote your gun. But you ain't gotta have your gun and engage in bullshit.
Be violent.
Have your shit because you love it and because you want to protect yourself.
Right.
So That's why I donate money to those type of things. Cause I actually do kill a lot of people that got nothing to really do with toting again.
I'll leave it there. I wonder if we'll get a response. If I'm 21 Savage, I gotta let time pass for some of this stuff going on around me and the homies. I don't need to get into it right now with NBA Youngboy and his fan base. Not right now. You know, we don't need no. Oh, I saw what you said. You that pussy. You talk about try to call me a pussy. Fuck you. Let it go. Let it go. A lot of people have an opinion about you saying, you and the homies saying, fuck the streets. Let it go, man. Leave NBA Youngboy alone right now. That is not going to help you, sir. All right. The Twins one. I'm going to save the Twins one to the end. And there's another one, but we'll do Finesse and AR Ab first. Let's go to this AR Ab one. AR Ab is still serving time, right? So I never saw this. Appears to be a new interview that he called home to say, and I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Some of these elements annoyed me a little bit, but let's check it out.
Let me say this though, I gotta get this off, man, because it's a misconception, and it irritates me. You dig what I'm saying? Like, people be saying that I did these interviews, I got in trouble for I didn't get in trouble. First of all, I'm not locked up for not one act of violence. You dig what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And first of all, when this conspiracy took place, I didn't do not one interview. My interviews is way before the conspiracy, the alleged conspiracy took place. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get that on the app. I didn't do interviews and they sponsored my interviews. They came and locked me up and locked this guy. No, it wasn't none of that. My alleged conspiracy is only like not even a whole year long. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
And I didn't do no interviews in that time. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not locked up for violence. Even if I was talking trash on the internet or whatever, but I'm not locked up for not one act of violence. I'm not locked up for not anything I ever said on the interview. They got me. They wrongfully convicted me from trafficking from state to state. You dig what I'm saying? Wow. I'm not locked up for nothing that got to do with Philadelphia for real.
Let me ask
you dig what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Right? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, how much time you sentenced to? What you sentenced to?
I'm sentenced to 45 years.
Now I'm asking you, how did you feel? I mean, what was going through your mind during the trial and to get to the point and get?
At the end of the day, you got to understand. As soon as I got locked up, I had like a serious epiphany. You dig what I'm saying? Whereas those like, I understood that I really like. I said, man, I'm locked up because of some sins. I don't want to get religious, but I got to get it there. I felt that I was locked up for some sins that I've committed. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day is, you know, the stuff they found, I never even been in them spots. You dig what I'm saying? I wasn't even touching it. I'm far removed from all this stuff. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's like, man, it's from, it's from a lawsuit. It's from a lawsuit, kind of with the island. Man. You dig what I'm saying? So, and we have to believe that the law is most merciful. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have to believe that. So me understanding that, I never felt despair, because the law says only the despair. Only the Zelimu, only the sinful, only the criminals, only the
This call is from a federal prison.
So we say only the disbeliever despair of his mercy. So I never despair of Allah's mercy. So
Shout out to Ab. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ab, respectfully. But there's a couple of things. I was just, because, I followed Ab when he was out, listened to all the mixtapes. To this day, I listen to a whole bunch of OBH related. I'm still listening to Dark Law every fucking day, damn near. # Freedom Man, that comes from that wave. I see y'all. So shout out to Ab and all of them, and all the branches coming from him and all the, But I think we still gotta, you can't listen to people that have celebrity or have these big known situations and we follow suit. You can't listen to an interview like that, people, and take that as how that helps y'all get around situations or move through life. And here's why. He says two things in there that's just like, it don't make no sense to me. The first one is, I never touch it. I wasn't close to none, whatever. I mean, well, don't take us for a fool. And I'm not saying that he's guilty of what he was convicted. I don't know. I don't know his case inside out. But a lot of people, you know, are in the midst of stuff, yet they're not necessarily on the corners. They're not doing the hand-to-hands. They're not doing the drop-offs. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Did Marlo ever touch his drugs? Like, what are we talking about here? You know, so like, they're painting him as one of the higher up, if not the leader guys. So of course we don't expect you to be the, I mean, you got other people to do that. We expect Paulie to whisper in somebody's ear, and then 3 people down the line is the one that gets hired to go kill somebody or some shit. So I mean, that's the bosses don't necessarily get their hands dirty directly. They get them dirty indirectly. The second thing is he's saying, I'm not in jail I'm not convicted of none of this stuff. So I don't like these narratives. It bothers me a little bit of, you know, the interviews that I did. So obviously where that's spawning from is he sees and he knows, and his people know, just like us, the infamous snitch videos. People say he's like the most notable self-snitching alleged criminal in hip-hop history. No bullshit. You know, that's what people say about AR Ab. And I think that got to him. So he said that. He said, it bothers me. And I want y'all to know I was convicted and I'm in here for something totally different. And people, what y'all got to remember, especially if you're still in the street, it doesn't matter what you got convicted for. Well, it does, but just peep the point. Why are you also getting investigated? Okay? He's failing to mention that part. And I think you street people, or you got people in the streets, always remember that. You don't have to get convicted of what you got investigated for. Okay? You can have somebody go to the cops and say you're a drug dealer out of your house. Right? You live in you trap and sleep in the same place. Your crib, you trapping out the back door. And they get a warrant, they kick in the door and they find no drugs and arrest you on some illegal guns and convict you on some guns. So, okay, it was something totally different that was going around, but that's not what you got convicted. You got convicted of something different. You know, it's never having the people on you. You can get investigated for money shit. You can get investigated for IRS shit. You can get invested. Look at Big U shit. Big U's indictment came down. It's got all different types of shit in there. I think the main shit, of course, is like the extortion and the murder and all that type of stuff. But all right, now that we're here with you, let's talk about this money that moved through government funds and tax evasion, and that's how it goes. You get investigated for all different types of shit, and then get convicted of something else. For example, this video right here, if I'm an authority, and respectfully, I'm just showing y'all how that interview is not to be followed, what he just said. This was like kind of infamous, people. Remember this?
Check this out, man. OBH Records, King of M. I got my own record company. I signed myself. Check this out. There's $500,000 on the table, man. This is $500,000 on the table. I just feel like y'all got too excited when Birdman paid me my $200,000. Like that's some real money. I've been had that money. I felt like y'all believe I was broke before I got that $200,000. This is $500,000. Huh? This is type money I bet. OBH Records, I got my own company. Huh? This is OBH Records. I got my own company. I'm independent for real. I'm independent. I signed myself. I don't have no boss. I've never had a boss in my life. King Ad, OBH, this is $500,000, man. Huh? You count it. Half a ticket, man. OBH Records, man. Y'all want to sign OBH Records, man? Jump in my DM. I sign y'all tonight.
Now, who was in tune back then? Allegedly, for all of this, of course, it's just outside looking in and following the timeline. Remember what people were saying about this whole timing right here? This was allegedly Ab responding to the internet. Like, it's the same way he's doing this interview now, calling home and saying, I don't want y'all to be calling me the self-snitch guy, and that's why I'm here. it was something similar here, something that was tugging on his ego, which was people saying you now got some money because Birdman gave you some money, or like they had like a bet or something like that, right? And if you remember the time, it was like that got under his skin, and he felt the need to show the internet and people trolling him and talking shit in his direction. I don't need no Birdman money. I think the first time I got some money, Birdman, look at this. I got $500,000 right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no boss. I don't got no Birdman. You know what I'm saying? I signed myself. This all OB. I never had a boss in my life. He was shooting at everybody, trolling him, talking about, oh, you got some money from Birdman. But in the midst of this, him putting up $500,000 on the table could do what? It can spawn investigations. Okay? Because all it takes is for somebody with some common sense to say, this is already a known felon, already convicted of certain crimes and whatnot. He file any taxes? Let me check this man's taxes that he filed the last 5 years. We got his government name. He's been arrested 1 million times. Let's check his taxes real quick. What did he file? How much money he making his filing? He reported a total of $60,000 over the last 3 years on his taxes. Oh, really? All right. He said OBH Records. Let's look it up. Is it a LLC? Let's look it up. How much money is being reported that we see come? Does the LLC exist? Is that registered? OBH. All I hear about is the same stuff he's already been locked up for. You know what? I have a hunch this $500,000 came out the street. I could be wrong, but let's investigate it. That's it. And then you get an investigation. And then you never know. They start looking into you for certain things. This person, Taz or whoever, allegedly gets arrested. He starts giving up information or lying on you, talking about, oh, this murder in my phone. He's the one that sent me. And that's the evidence that they have. And that's what goes to trial. And that's what you end up getting convicted on. But how did they get on to you? Did they get on to Frank Lucas because they saw him on the corner? They got on to him because he went to that fucking ringside with the chinchilla hat and jacket. Jay? I be kicking her ass. I know she like, all right, you got it, nigga. Stop. It's enough now. But real shit. That's really, really, you get investigated for all types of shit. And then when they got you and they got their hard evidence or they got their snitches, then you end up getting convicted of whatever. You know? So what he said, people, y'all can't follow that. And I fuck with Ab. You know what I'm saying? But you can't follow that. Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. Let's be real. I bet AR Ab caused a war for that phone. Man, all that shit that was going on and talk between him and Taz and all that, allegedly. This is what I'm trying to say. It's pride got him in trouble. Like that was what was happening in this time right here. The whole internet trolling and you got some money from Baby. And that nigga didn't like that. He didn't like that. You know, it's like imagine like the internet starts saying ARP. Now I'm a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen, so anything I show, I could back up with receipts and earnings and all types of shit. I could show you how I got it. It didn't come out the street. You know what I'm saying? But hypothetically, let's say all my money wasn't clean. I'm not gonna let y'all ARP. That's bullshit, man. You got all your money from Max Out, and then that fucks with my ego, and I gotta be like, what? Max Out? You think battle rap is what bought me all these hats? Nigga, there's $500,000 right here on stream. No, I ain't doing that for you, motherfucker. And anything I show you would be legal, and I still ain't doing that shit. I don't even got the time to get investigated, even if you don't bring no charges. I don't got time for it. You see what I mean? And that's the learning lesson here of why I like this topic, because it's deeper than our egos. It's like, don't do nothing that gets you investigated, regardless of whether you think somebody gonna try to convict you of something that you're not guilty of or not. Why even put yourself in a position to get investigated behind causing these motherfuckers to get jealous or things to start ringing out and word to start traveling or whatever. Hell no, B. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. And I know people in AR Ab corner is thinking about videos like that or some of his interviews, regardless of what he got convicted of. You know, it's like that's a man's pride as well. Like you sitting there and you got 45 years, you don't want to tell yourself, damn, I'm here because I told niggas, you know, I killed people and they started looking at Skinny Me because I said, yo, his music is raw. I seen them do it. He be killing. You know, like nobody wants to sit in jail for 45 years and believe that they did something that stupid. And of course, that there's interview that doesn't have to be part of your trial, but why you got investigated is a whole nother story. All right. Speaking of a man's pride, we all have it, and I'm glad I gotta try to check myself, remind myself of some of this shit too. But this is a clear moment of a man's pride. Now, Little Woody posted a screenshot of Finesse 2 Times asking Lil Woody to meet up with him. So this is an alleged DM. So Finesse DMs Woody allegedly and says, drop the low, killer. Fuck all the internet shit. We could meet up and crash. I'm on that, you stupid. Allegedly, Woody DMs back, I love you. It's okay. Nah, fuck you. Not going, whatever that stands for again. All right. Here's a learning lesson for me here, people. Finesse 2 Times, he's extremely immature. Is he still in his 20s? He don't look it. He looks like he's knocking on 40. That's how he look. But let's say he's in his 20s or mid, whatever, lower third, whatever. He is extremely immature because remember how this started the other day, right? He took a shot at Young. All right, let me go right to the beginning. He comes home. Him and his girlfriend Suge, who was still locked up, right? They get grabbed up by his own admission, some weed and some pills. He said it himself, and I was just like, "Shut the fuck up! Like, give your lawyer something to work with here. Some weed and some pills." Okay, while he was on his live, as always, talking nonsense or shit that he shouldn't be saying publicly. It looked like he was getting comments of why you home? Why you home? And then these internet motherfuckers, they follow Whack 100. They think like if you get arrested in your home in a day or two or a week or two, you automatically a rat. And they never been through nothing. Motherfuckers, even niggas that got past big felonies, they make bond for small shit. Like he made bond for some drugs. Like, so what? But anyway, it looked like he was on his shit, reading those comments. He saw that and reference Shay, keep up. Just like Rampage Jackson's son. Oh, I got turned out by my fucking Raja Jackson. I got turned out. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all. But he snapped. And he says, damn, y'all don't want me to come home. It was some pills and some weed. I made bond. What the fuck y'all talking about? Wait, y'all bitch, y'all got the nerve to call me a rat, but y'all be the one sitting right next to a rat. Look at Young Thug and all y'all knew Gunna and them was a rat. And so he threw Thug under the bus. Now, he ain't telling no lies, but he threw Thug under the bus while defending while he was home or made bond. He didn't need to, but he did. Want me to still say allegedly? Okay, cool, allegedly. Woody, for whatever reason, jumps up and has something to say about Finesse 2 Times. Called him out his name. Gotta give Finesse that. Woody did call him out his name. Finesse responds. You know, half of it was like jokey, talking about his bald head and everything, you know, kind of snapping. But he said F you and all that. Okay, cool. But if that's what all y'all got, and it leads to these DMs, let's link up and crash. Now imagine the other person, Woody or whoever, says, okay, here's the location. And you actually pull up and y'all shoot at each other or somebody get hurt. It shows how much somebody else is in control of Finesse 2 Times right now. Because if that's all that happened, and if that's all it takes for somebody to get you to move or to put you somewhere at a location that I give you, you don't know how to value your own life yet. You don't even know how to equate circumstances of what's really critical yet. Do you have any kids? Do you have anything to live for? Have you matured enough to realize how precious your life is? This internet, these lives, your reputation as a rapper or a real nigga or a street nigga, I don't care how tough you are, you can be the toughest in the world. If that's all it takes, if I can get your attention and then get you to show up at a location that I dropped off of me just chiming in on your opinion, you have a long way to go, buddy. You want to throw your, I don't know, allegedly if it's the drugs or you just too in, you need to put your phone down, or I don't know, or you just that tough, all of the above, whatever it is. Super gangster, you got it. I don't want to get into it with y'all. I believe y'all. Okay, gangster, you got it. But god damn, you over something like that. You ain't putting me at no location. You can't get me out my house for that. You can't make me walk out my front door for that. We ain't packing up no cars for that. My life is worth more. Grow the fuck up. And I know it's cliche to say that, but that's real shit. That shit's sad. That's all it takes. We DM is put the show. Where we at? Let's do it then. Do what? For what? I'll save this other one for last. Let's do the twins first. Bugged out news, people. Crime news story. Never heard these two people before, but it was such a bugged out story. I said, let's bring it to the stream.
Twin brothers are in jail tonight, accused of two Fort Worth murders days apart. Court documents reveal a bizarre set of circumstances leading to the first fatal shooting. However, a witness told police the second killing was payback for a robbery a few years ago. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has been going through the police paperwork today, and she's got more. Peyton?
Steve, and the two murder scenes 2 weeks apart and right across the street from one another. We just learned that the suspect vehicle involved was caught on surveillance video in that North Fort Worth area on both of these nights. Fort Worth police tell us that suspect vehicle was registered to the twins' mother.
Friday, Fox 4 visited Mary Aguado.
We don't really hang out outside anymore.
Again at her Garden Acres home in Fort Worth. Her fence in the same condition 1 month after a high-speed chase ended in her front yard.
I mean, you're going to go to prison for murder. There's nothing going to hold you back. I mean, he could have hurt anybody, you know, trying to get away.
The man in the Honda, 20-year-old Samuel Gabadabo. This week, Fort Worth police connected Gabadabo and his twin brother, Solomon Gabadabo, to two murders back in November. In the early morning hours of November 15th, 19-year-old Devin Randalls was shot and killed at a North Fort Worth apartment complex near 35W and Western Center Boulevard. Investigators believe the victim, found with a surgical mask and gloves on, was breaking into vehicles with others. 2 weeks later, and just across the street of Western Center Boulevard, an employee at Flip's Patio Grill was murdered in the parking lot. Detectives determined 20-year-old Isaiah Gonzalez finished his shift on November 30th when he was gunned down in his vehicle. Fort Worth police say it appeared to be a targeted hit. According to a newly obtained search warrant, during the investigation, police received a tip that Gonzalez robbed the brothers 4 years ago and forced the twins to undress at gunpoint. The tipster told officers they recently heard the Gabadabo brothers were responsible for Gonzalez's murder. Investigators say they found a video on Gonzalez's phone of two naked young men at gunpoint. Using facial recognition software, police determined the young men in the video to be the twin brothers. Then on December 12th, that's when Samuel Gabadabo was arrested for evading arrest in the Garden Acres pursuit and bonded out. At the time, Fort Worth police say they didn't have enough evidence connecting him to the two murders. This week, on Thursday, Fort Worth's fugitive unit found the brothers at a residence in Burleson and booked them into the Tarrant County Jail. Back at Mary Aguado's house,
they're going to come fix it probably next week, but on my dollar.
She fronted the money for a new fence, now hoping for a guardrail, but thankful her family wasn't hurt that December day.
He jumped my fence where my mom was right there.
Police also say that surveillance video from Flips showed 2 suspects in hoodies get out of the tall grass, wait for Gonzalez and his girlfriend to get to his vehicle, and then open fire. The search warrant we obtained also talks about shoe impressions that investigators followed to the suspect's fugitive unit.
Shoe impression. Do they look like identical twins? Not necessarily, right? Same tattoo on the neck. I don't know about, of course, hair, but I'm not talking about that type of shit that you could change. But facially, do they look like identical twins? I don't know. But wow, the shoe impressions, nothing new there. You know, to track that from a crime standpoint or an investigation standpoint. The person that was allegedly killed by these 2 guys, I think he's in rest in peace, respectfully. But one, they say they found video or pictures in his phone, allegedly, of these 2 guys that were stripped naked and robbed at gunpoint. Why is that still in your phone? Why is it in your phone to begin with? Why was it ever recorded? Now, it's not like it's something he's got to deal with because, you know, it's not like he's arrested for robbery, like he was killed. You know, so respectfully. But here's the second thing. I know they're saying some time has passed, but if you give it up like that, I'm talking about, it ain't like you walking around the neighborhood and you done had a dice game and, I don't know, made off with somebody. Then again, niggas get killed. I can't even use that example. I don't know. I'm just trying to say, like, if you stripping niggas naked at gunpoint and robbing niggas, can you then turn around and just go work a regular 9 to 5? Can you do that? I don't think you can. You know, you can't be on no set schedule and at no retail or restaurant or public location working a regular job if you do street shit like that. These street niggas can't be having regular jobs. Like, if you really do shit to people, you can't have regular jobs. You can't. That's insane. And, you know, I don't condone the taking of one's life unless it's, especially if it's not I should say especially. There are circumstances, so I don't want to get into that conversation, but especially if it's not defensive. But damn, you know, you strip these 2 niggas naked and allegedly walking around with the footage in your phone. You might have been walking around with their reputation, their pride, and their egos, you know, for God knows how long. Could be the whole hood. Like, listen, I saw the video. I look at what's the name from Keep Up Jay in fucking Menace. The video of such and such whooping your ass. It's like, all right, wait till the cops get this motherfucker. Why he sent the video to the cops? Because his pride is broken. Like this. You know what I'm saying? Like he sent the footage of the store robbery to the cops because the hood is pestering him about getting pistol whipped at that party over Rodney, right? So that's art imitates reality on some real shit. It's just like you do certain things to certain people, and then the surrounding factors, they can't live it down. It's like getting beat up in private versus getting beat up on camera. You get beat up on camera, somebody might want to follow up because I got to get back. I don't even feel comfortable walking around. Everybody, making fun of, you know what I'm saying? It's different. You walking around with that shit in your phone. It's not like they only came back for just get back for rob. You could have just robbed some real niggas. That's just like, you ain't getting away with robbing me. But also the exposing, like, why is this on your phone anyway? You know? And it's just like, I'm going to give everybody something to laugh at. You heard what happened to him? Oh, you know, that type shit. But those are the 2 questions. Like, do y'all believe this is also motivated by the fact that this man recorded it? And if you're giving it up like that on some street shit, can you work a regular job? You know, those are the 2 questions. All right, last but not least, before we get up out of here, and I'm going to double check on the super chat challenge. And yeah, I'm gonna save the Mickey Fallon. I don't want to go back over there and see if it dropped. We'll save it for tomorrow's stream. It's past some of our bedtimes, getting late. But this was big news. I didn't cover it for the last like week or so, but Cenat shows off his Vivid, if that's how you pronounce it, journal at Paris Fashion Week. He's showing that he's dedicated. He's at Fashion Week with this journal. He's showing like some of his ideas that he's been writing down. And this does look like dedication. I ain't gonna lie. We saw a video of him coming out and showing how he came up with the symbol and everything. And this was more important to me, not from the fashion side. We'll see what he puts out. If he's got some good stuff that lands in some stores, hell, I'll support it. Why not? You never know. I think the bigger storyline here is him retiring and quitting streaming and then getting into the fashion world. And here's the thing about the fashion world. Everybody knows the fashion world isn't the easiest to break into at the super highest levels, because it's like, I don't know, if I wanted to put out a new car right now, I got to deal with BMW and Toyota and Mercedes, and you know what I'm saying? Like these competitors, they monopolies are like illegal, right? You can't push out competition. It's like a legal thing. It's like law. You have to allow the consumers to have choices. But getting into that high level, like imagine you want to have something that's going to compete with the Versace's and the Balenciagas. Kanye was, his influence was so mega that you come out with a t-shirt that got some holes in it and it's super baggy. It looks like a 5X and all the youngins is taken to it, but it costs cheaper than like that is a worry for some of these people. That's a problem. We see examples of this type of shit, and it really happens. Look at some of the people that theorize that Diddy got in trouble when that corporate, was it Diageo, that like owns Ciroc and all that, like when he created the lawsuit against them, then all of a sudden his problems start. Like you never know. You never know. It is something that really, really happens. But the point that I really want to get to is that getting into the fashion industry and then Kai never having a reputation for being anywhere near that field or having that type of talent or being a designer or anything like that, it makes everybody scratch their head and say, what the fuck are you doing? But here's where I want to give a different perspective. And this is why I have so much respect for it. First of all, it takes a lot of heart to follow your passion, especially if it's a passion that is separating you from something that you're extremely good at and extremely successful at. And the reason why I could relate is because to this day, people, the last Rare Breed Entertainment pay-per-view was September 2023. To this day, we just moved into January 2026. To this day, whether it's people I meet in the street, I could bump into somebody in the mall, I could bump into somebody out and about at the club, I bumped into people out the country, out the state. And I get these questions of like, why or how? Remember, I had a bet with Math Hoffa. He was like, you ain't retired. And I won $1,000 bet with him. And he ended up coming on one of the live streams and sending a $500 super chat that was kind of like, yo, just take this 500. And we laughed about it. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, though, people, they can't process because they're just like, yo, RBE was one of the best platforms out there. You retired at the top, like League of the Year and Card of the Year and Event of the Year and Battle of the Year, and Big K wins Cody and promo of the year. Like people can't process it because it doesn't happen a lot and people can't see themselves doing it. Like we're like Kai is or whatever, one of the top streamers making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and people self-project. They do it to me, they're doing it to Kai right now, and I'm peanuts compared to what he succeeded in a lane that he got into. They can't process the fact that this man won the game and he's super successful and at the top of the industry that he's in as a streamer, and he said, I'm done. And I'm going over here now to do something that is way much lesser in revenue, or people can't process it. They can't process Max Out 4 is definitely on the way. Like, there's no way you left Rare Breed Entertainment to just take back those cycles and put down that legacy and close that book and then do podcasting because you enjoy talking your shit. No way, ARP. He'll be back. Max Out 4 is coming. This is a trick. It's like, how many years got to pass? Competitors don't believe it. Fans don't believe it. Battle rappers don't believe it. Bloggers don't believe it. And I understand it. And that's why when I saw this at first, I almost asked the question about, damn, you gonna leave that? What? And I had to catch myself and say, if you feel like you've done everything that you've wanted to do in that field, you already made the money, you've already marked your legacy, you've already all wanted the best to do it, and now you're looking at what makes you happy and what you want to do for the next chapters of your life, 90+% of the people will never understand that. Only you will. And stay on that path. You know what I mean? So I wanted to flip the Cenat thing into a topic to remind us, you know, when it comes to following your passion, don't worry about all the people that don't understand. Even if you tell them the flat God's honest truth, they will not understand. You got people that say shit to me like URL forced them, was on RBE's here. I'm like, if you took you 10 years to get me out of here, you didn't do a good job, especially with the last year that I was here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the lawsuit. I turned it up after the lawsuit. You fucking idiots. Like, no. There's nothing in, there's no paper, nothing. URL can't tell you that. No, they could never stop me from doing anything that I want to do, obviously. You know, that's why I was such a problem. You know, that's why people still fear if I'm going to do something, allegedly. Real shit. You're going to stop me from doing nothing if I want. I would throw an event tomorrow if I want. I don't want to. I don't want to. And I get it. People, they can't process that. And a lot of people don't have the strength to do stuff like that. It's no different than somebody picking up and moving on. People in abusive relationships. Oh, we talking. People in abusive relationships. People that have been in a state for too long and they hate where they at. And they just need that push to say, all right, I'm leaving this behind. I'm going somewhere else and starting a new chapter in life. Shout out to Jazz. I saw Jazz post that. You know, like picking up and leaving New York and moving to California is like one of the best things she's ever did in her life. Got a new place out there, new job, new things going on with her. She had to make that leap, you know, leave behind that job that she had in New York. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people don't have the guts to actually do what makes them happy. And that's how you end up on the hamster wheels. Do what makes you happy and then have enough logic and setup behind it to say, oh, I'm gonna bring this to life now. Cenat already has 1 million connections. He's already got a ton of money. So he definitely has the means to make it happen. Just people can't self-project on him, but so much before you gotta look at it and say, nah, you can't do what he's doing. He can know. He showed me a lot of strength by doing that. I think it's some rare breed shit. All right. I think I caught all the supers. I'm hating on your point right now. Haters for life. This was at, what time was this? 9:39. I forget which point this was. Haters for life. I appreciate the super. I see that's also your joint. So which point was I making, homie? My bad. Chase says, where art thou, boy? We're done. No more beef. Today was the last time. I'm done shooting at you, Jay. I gotta break that habit before it starts too much. All right. I don't want to shoot at you no more. We good. Same team. Your voice, never. You see, same team. I'm stopped. No more drama, no more beef between us. All right. I'm still taking the crown, and if you feel like you have the crown, then we could just both feel like we got the crown. But same team, okay, same team. No more beef. I'm stopping it. But all right. Shout out to the stream today. Fun stream. We got on here at 8:45. That's not going to be an uncommon thing. When we can't do morning streams, and like I told you, I said I got a lot of new ventures for 2026, things that started to pick up at like the last 2 months, month and a half of 2025, and now they're starting. Things that I gotta get into, and it's gonna make my mornings, some of my afternoons that much more hectic. So I knew I was gonna have to break that, and we did months ago, like the set morning streams. But during the week, if I gotta force way more evening lives, then we might get back to a set time. This 8:45 for more reasons than one works, but I don't want to be the guy that did what we did before. Here's the time, y'all, and then we got to change it. But point being, keep an eye on the evenings, people. We're gonna have a lot of streams in the evenings, you know. But work is work. We hear y'all, okay? I shall see y'all tomorrow. Sorry, it's true.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry It's True podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without, I think still got a gun.